So today we're doing a deep dive into Joshua 16, specifically verses 1 through 10.
Mm-hmm.
And it really throws us right into this tension that feels incredibly modern, right?
It really does. It's this clash between our culture's obsession with fairness.
Exactly. And the biblical idea of grace.
It's the perfect setup. We're essentially asking why Scripture sometimes seems, unequal.
And what this specific, very old historical text can tell us about God's purpose versus, what we think people deserve.
Yeah.
So we open with the land inheritance for Joseph's descendants, his two sons, Manasseh and Ephraim. And the verses are they're packed with borders and landmarks.
They are. And it can feel a little, overwhelming if you get lost in the names. But I think the main point here isn't the tiny details of the geography.
It's the scale.
It's the sheer scale of it, yes. I mean, we're talking about a territory stretching from the Jordan River near Jericho all the way west.
Through the hill country.
Right, through that rugged country and then out to the Mediterranean Sea. It's massive.
Yeah.
The source material really emphasizes that in verse 4. The people of Joseph received their inheritance. The gift was just grand.
Okay, but this is where it gets tricky, right?
Yeah.
This is the snag for us today.
Mm-hmm.
Because Joseph was just one of Jacob's 12 sons. But his family gets two portions. One for Manasseh, one for Ephraim.
A double portion.
It just looks like blatant favoritism. I mean, how else are you supposed to read that?
And that is exactly the challenge. If you're looking at this through a modern lens of equal opportunity and fairness.
It feels miserable.
It completely fails that test. But the sources are pushing back on that very idea, insisting that the whole point is that it's not based on our idea of fairness.
It's about divine grace.
It's about an abundant divine grace. The whole idea is that blessings are gifts. They aren't wages you've earned. They're not owed to you.
So it shifts the whole conversation from what you merit to what you simply receive.
Exactly. And suddenly that huge scale of the territory makes more sense. It's not about being equal. It's about being more than anyone expected. It shows the abundance of the giver.
Right. Not the worthiness of the one receiving it.
Precisely. And that concept of unmerited grace, it connects directly to the messy reality of how they actually took possession of the land.
Which brings us to that really surprising detail in verse 10.
The unfinished business.
Yeah, the unfinished business. So Ephraim gets this incredible, vast territory with important towns like Gezer in it.
A huge blessing.
But the text is very clear. They did not drive out the Canaanites who were already living there.
No, they didn't, which is such a crucial piece of context. The inheritance wasn't this perfectly clean, empty plot of land.
It was messy.
It was messy. The sources say the Canaanites remain there to this day, but were put to forced labor.
So grace isn't about getting something perfect and effortless.
Not at all. It means inheriting a huge blessing, but also inheriting the work, the challenges, and the resistance that comes with it.
The inheritance was a guarantee, but the actual living it out was, complicated.
Right. It refines what we think grace is. It equips you inside the struggle. It doesn't just remove the struggle.
Okay, so let's bring this all back to, you listening right now.
Mm-hmm.
We live in a world that is, and rightly so, very focused on fairness.
Yeah.
On fighting inequality.
Absolutely. And this ancient text isn't arguing against justice. It's not saying fairness doesn't matter.
But it is challenging where we put our ultimate focus, isn't it?
It's asking us to consider a different frame. Because if your primary yardstick for life is constantly, is this fair, compared to someone else,
you're going to be disappointed.
Okay.
And probably resentful.
Almost inevitably. The source material invites you to try a bigger frame, to maybe measure your life by grace instead.
Which leaves us with a pretty big question to think about then.
How do you balance both of those things? The vital drive for justice in society with an internal recognition of grace, of trusting a purpose that to our eyes often looks really unequal. How can you trust God's purpose over your sense of what's fair?